Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about the full moon in Taurus at 13 degrees of the sign. Before we begin, I want to thank Nadiya and her entire team for giving me the opportunity to share on their channel my insights and interpretations of this full moon in Taurus. I hope this information is helpful for you all and that you can really make the most of it. Let's get started. This full moon is about abundance, pleasure, and tangible results. This full moon brings a moment of rich abundance. It's that feeling of finally seeing something flourish, something that took patience, care, and time. The moon lights up under the beautiful trine between Jupiter in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces. A combination that speaks of steady growth, emotional maturity, and inner stability. When this cycle began back in May 2024, Uranus in Taurus and sextile Saturn in Pisces, direct Saturn in Pisces, from the start we knew this was a long game. It wasn't about rushing, it was about building slowly, enjoying the process, trusting the pace. And now, with this full moon, we see the results of that slow and loving work. Something blooms, maybe your sense of peace, maybe your finances, maybe your confidence. Whatever it is, it's something that grew quietly and now feels solid, beautiful, and real, tangible. So let's think how this energy might feel. You can imagine it like this. Maybe you started something months ago just for pleasure, not for money, not for validation, not for making somebody else happy. Maybe you began tending your garden, planting flowers, connecting with the earth through small rituals. And now that garden is full of life, full of flowers, fruits, giving back the peace you put into it. You feel drawn to slow mornings, coughing in the sun, time to simply be. You realize abundance isn't just about what you have, but about what you feel. For others, the story might look different, but with the same essence. Maybe you started a pottery class or a cooking workshop, something that grounded you in the present. And through that, you found new friendships, new rhythms, more joy, spaces without pressure where you could just enjoy being you. And for some, yes, this energy is about real, tangible abundance, maybe investments, property, financial decisions, finally showing results after months of effort. That's Jupiter in Cancer, working with Saturn in Pisces. Growth with purpose. A few days before this full moon, Mars also joined this grand trine that adds fire, motivation, and direction. So, this isn't just about harvesting, it's also about what comes next, the next step. It's time to project the future with consciousness and intention. What are you going to do with this abundance you have right now? Venus in Libra and Jupiter in Cancer are bringing us some beautiful gifts. So, just before this full moon happened, Venus in Libra made a square with Jupiter in Cancer, and this is about expansion, joy, beauty. These both planets are about resources, charm, generosity. Venus in Libra loves harmony, aesthetics, relationships, the balance, the connections, and Jupiter in Cancers loves to nurture, protect, to share abundance, to give to others. Together, they create this soft, glowing energy of satisfaction. It's that feeling of I did it and I can finally enjoy it. A moment to celebrate what's blooming, whether that's love, home, or creative work. For some, this could mean material abundance, money, a house, a career win. For others, it could be just emotional abundance, gratitude, feeling like everything is where it's supposed to be. It's a reminder that wealth is not only about what we can keep, but also what we can share and what we can multiply and use to help others too. So let them flow this energy. Let's share what we have. Let's share our joys with others. This moon teaches us about recognizing the abundance we have in our life and how to keep moving through it. It's about appreciating the present and all the effort everyone did in order to achieve what you have or what we have right now. There's also another things happening. We have some surprises, some unexpected changes and necessary adjustments. Why I say this? Because Mars has just entered Sagittarius and opposes Uranus retrograde at 0 degrees of Gemini, right before Uranus moves back into Taurus. This can bring sudden changes, quick decisions, or plans that shift overnight. Something you thought was settled might need to be adjusted. And with Mercury about to retrograde, there's another layer of review and reorganization. So if you're signing contracts, closing deals, or planning a big move, double check the details. Not everything will go as expected, and that's okay. Sometimes the universe shakes things up a little bit just to align us better. This full moon is both sweet and surprising. It's the joy of harvest and the thrill of new beginnings, a moment of celebration, the celebration for how much have you grown in all this process. Through all this process is a time for honoring your work and trusting your timing. So let's start talking about this full moon for every rising sign. Super full moon in Taurus for Aries rising. This is a very interesting full moon for you because it's happening in your second house of income, your money, your resources, and your properties too. So, this full moon is showing the result of a process that you have been working on the last 18 months, something that you made with patience, effort, and discipline, and something that you made thinking about your future. You knew this process would be slow, maybe it was an investment. Maybe this was a strategy that you put in practice in order to save some money. So now you have the results, you have the money, you have the payment. Maybe you were trying to sell a property and now you finally managed to do it and have the money available for you. Why am I talking about selling and properties? Because we also have Jupiter in Cancer. This Jupiter is important because when this cycle began in May 2024, Jupiter were in Taurus in conjunction with Uranus, so it was part of the cycle. And this Jupiter back then was talking fluidly in a sextile with direct Saturn in Pisces. So this is an important part of this cycle. And this Jupiter is in your fourth house of home, family matters, also the house of lands and properties. So this could be connected to buying or selling a property. So for some Aries that work in real estate, this could be the moment you are doing an important negotiation, or maybe you are making a big sale and now you are receiving an important payment. For other people, for other Aries rising, this could be connected to an important goal about buying a home or selling your own house in order to buy a bigger one, or maybe you were trying to get some money to save money to make your home bigger, maybe remodelate some part of your house and make it more beautiful, comfortable, and cozy for you. This is connected with other people. So these other people could be the clients, the buyers, or this person could be your romantic partner, the one with you were planning this project, and now you are celebrating, and you are celebrating in a big way because we have the two benefics, the two planets that gives us beautiful gifts, Jupiter in Cancer and Venus in Libra, making a square. Few days before this full moon, these two were talking, and these both are in good signs. That means that Jupiter has resources to give, to be generous, and Venus in Libra has resources to connect, to make things beautiful, to make things joyful, to harmonize with others. So this conversation between Jupiter and Venus is about having fun, giving something beautiful to others, maybe giving something like a beautiful gift, like buying something expensive to somebody in order to show affection. Maybe this is about throwing a party and celebrating this new goal that you just um, uh, achieved recently. And let's also observe where is Mars, because Mars is your ruler, is the ruler of Aries, and Mars is beginning its transit in Sagittarius and is making an opposition with Uranus retrograde in Gemini. This is important because this is talking about surprises, sudden decisions, sudden moves, like you were making an impulsive decision. Maybe this opportunity to sell or to buy opened up unexpectedly. It is an opportunity that you were not, that you thought was no longer available for you, and suddenly arise, and you have to act rapidly. But this Mars in Sagittarius is very impulsive, and this opposition to Uranus talks about surprises, about being a little erratic, or maybe exaggerated, or maybe not thinking very thoroughly the decision you are making. And what I can advise you is that you have to take in consideration that we have Mercury in Sagittarius and it's going to retrograde. So think about the possibility of having to check several times the conditions of a contract, maybe the conditions of the agreement, of the sale agreement, of the buying agreement. Or maybe if you were trying to sell a property in order to move abroad, you will have to buy the tickets very fast because the opportunity is now. You have the money, you want to buy the tickets in order to move to another country before the year ends. And in this rush, you might need to check the dates, or something might be a little out of your plans in the next weeks before this, after this full moon. So this is a very positive full moon for you. You are enjoying the results of a very long and patient work. And now you have these resources available in order to do something that you want to do very rapidly. Just be aware that you'll have to check or to revisit some agreements or conversations, or even purchases you are making these days close to the full moon. Why I say this? Because Mercury is about to retrograde. It's going to talk Again, with Jupiter and with Saturn, remember those two are very important for this cycle. So there's something about the legal issues or about the agreements or about the promises you made that you will have to check twice the next weeks. Let's go with Libra. For Libra risings, this full moon is happening in your eighth house of other people's money. This is the house where you see the resources of your partner, your romantic partner, or maybe the resources you get from a business partner, or money you get from loans, like maybe you asked for credit or money from the bank in some way, an important amount of money or resources you were expecting to receive from others, and this is the moment that you see the results of this. This is a very good full moon for you because this full moon answers to Venus. Venus is also your ruler, and she is, or it is, in Libra, your sign. So this is a moment where you are observing the results of your hard work in the last 18 months. And this is connected to a very important and an ambitious goal you had. Why I say this? Because Venus is separating from a square, an important square, with Jupiter in Cancer in your 10th house. And your 10th house is the one that talks about your work, your profession, your public figure, like what you represent in society, and also talks about big goals, big ambitions. And Jupiter in Cancer has been giving you opportunities and blessings the last months, especially from June this year. And now with this square, with these two benefics in a very good position, you are the beneficiary of these blessings. Your work, your effort is now giving you beautiful results. And these results comes in the shape of resources from others. So maybe you are receiving the money from a buyer. You sell something and you're receiving the money from the buyer, and now you can use that money for whatever you want. Maybe you were trying to receive money from the bank, a loan, because you want to buy a home, because Cancer is also the sign of home, family, the mother, and the women in the family. So maybe your goal, your important goal for this year, was to buying a house or a property, or investing in your family matters. So this money that you are receiving, you want to use it for having a better time, or maybe to invest it in a new house for making your family go bigger. So this is something about a big movement, and you might feel generous. Maybe you want to use this money and expand very really hard. And the thing I might advise you here is this Venus is about to enter Scorpio, sorry, it's about to enter Scorpio. And this is the part of your chart that talks about your money, but also when Venus enters in Scorpio, it's not as strong and abundant as when it is in Libra. So maybe you will receive a big amount of money, but you also have to invest that big amount of money in something else in order to make it grow with time. But you might feel like you don't have the money, like you receive a loan, but you are going to use that loan to buy your home. You are not going to have the money for yourself, like buying things. You are going to use it immediately for another thing. And we have Mars in your third house, and also Mercury in your third house of communication, about movement, about like commercial interactions. So if you were trying to buy a house, if that was your goal, you will have to make very fast decisions, and also you might have to check twice all the papers you have to sign, because some of the conditions of those commercial agreements might change. Or maybe you'll have to move very fast. Maybe you buy the house or the place faster than you plan, and you'll have to move in the next weeks, something that you didn't plan. And this is going to change all your expectations about these final weeks of the year, and it's going to make you move faster than you thought. This is a very beautiful and important full moon for you, so I hope you enjoy it. Let's go with Taurus, Taurus rising. This is the full moon of the year for you, and it's happening in your rising sign. So this is a very personal full moon that is showing you how much have you grown, or have you managed to connect with yourself, with your body, with your well-being. This full moon in Taurus is answering to Venus, because she is the ruler of Taurus. And this Venus is in a good sign in Libra, and is transiting a part of your chart that talks about your daily routines, your habits, your lifestyle, and also your health. So maybe the last 18 months you decided to pay more attention to yourself. Maybe you noticed that you had to listen to your body, to go slower. Maybe you needed time to recharge, or maybe what you really needed was to pay attention to your habits. Maybe you needed to invest more time in your food. Maybe you learn in these last 18 months new recipes, more nourishing recipes, more nutritious, more delicious recipes that also made you enjoy cooking, but also um, had a positive impact in your health, in your well-being, and also in your presence. Maybe in the last 18 months you decided to pay attention on the way you um, feed yourself in order to eat in a healthy manner. And this change of habits had a positive impact in your image, in the way you feel, in the way you project yourself, in the way you interact with others, because you feel healthier, because you feel more attractive, or you feel more rest, because sometimes the food we ingest is so aggressive to our body that we feel uncomfortable and angry and maybe anxious, and it's because our body is inflamed, and this has an impact in the way we interact with others, because we are feeling uncomfortable, maybe bloated, or maybe irritable. We are not going to connect with others in a harmony manner, in a beautiful manner. So now with this full moon, you see the positive impact little changes in your daily routines, in your daily habits had in your well-being. This could be also the moment you notice that you or maybe you needed help in your daily routine. Maybe you needed somebody to take charge of daily tasks in order to have more free time to pay attention to yourself. And now you see the results of that. And now you are in a position to celebrate the new you, or the way you are feeling right now. We have a very beautiful square between Venus in Libra and Jupiter in Cancer. So, what I can think about this is maybe you decided in the last 18 months to go to a cooking class because you wanted to learn different recipes, tasty recipes that were also healthy for yourself, and you ended up having new friends, enjoying your time, doing these activities not only for your health but also for connecting to others. And these little changes you made the last 18 months now are giving you the gifts of a better health, a better sense of yourself, and also new friendships, because we have this connection between Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn in Pisces, in your 11th house of friendship, and also this Venus in your 6th house that is talking about an improvement of your life quality, or something that is linked to your health and your daily habits. So let's see this full moon in Taurus for Scorpio risings. This is happening in your 7th house. This is the house of others, like your romantic partner or your professional partner or some client, provider, or key person in your life. This is the moment you observe the result of an important process for this other person, and we can observe this person is also represented by Venus, because Venus is the ruler of Taurus. For the moment of this full moon, this Venus is ending its transit in Libra, which is your 12th house. So maybe this is a process that you weren't aware. Maybe this is something that was happening in secret. This person was investing in herself or himself. This person was working in feeling better. It might be something about health or something about their image, the way they project themselves to others, and the way they wanted to interact with others. And now you see the result of this process. This Venus is making a important square with Jupiter in Cancer, and Jupiter is in your 9th house of legal manner, legal issues, your the house of travel, connections with other cultures, other languages, or other knowledge too. So maybe this was a process this person was doing in order to grow, maybe to grow personally, or maybe learning new skills in order to feel better. So this could also be connected with travel, because we have Jupiter in your 9th house of traveling abroad. So this might be the moment that an opportunity, an unexpected opportunity to travel, manifest to yourself through others. Maybe there's somebody inviting you to a journey, to do a journey, to do a travel abroad. Maybe this was something about vacations. Maybe this special someone was planning some vacations, but in secret, and now the moment has arrived. This person has the money. Maybe was organizing herself in order to save money, and now be able to share her abundance or his abundance with you. And why I say that? Because we have Jupiter in your 9th house, in your 9th house of travel, long journeys, connected with Saturn in Pisces, your 5th house of pleasure, romance, sexuality, hobbies, and things we do for having fun. So this could be a gift, unexpected gift, vacation, like vacations, or something maybe like a special weekend with this special partner, or this could also be linked with fertility. Maybe this other person was taking care of herself or himself in order to be healthier for having kids. I talk about kids because Taurus is a fertile sign. You have a very important transit in your fifth house. You have the North Node there. This is the house of children, fertility, sexuality. And we have a very beautiful Jupiter in Cancer, which is the most fertile sign of all. So this connection, and taking in consideration that few days before this full moon, Mars was part of this grand trine with Jupiter and Saturn, this could be about fertility. So the full moon in Taurus for Gemini risings. This full moon lights up your 12th house, the area of secrets, retreat, and healing. It's the space where you go to recharge, where you go to rest, to recover. So for you, this lunation reveals the results of something you've been working through for the past 18 months. And maybe you've been reflecting on your need for rest, or even preparing for a time of retirement, stepping back from a career chapter that's coming to a close. You've needed space to make big decisions because, let's be honest, you're in a process of deep change. Uranus is right on top of your sign, hovering at 0 degrees of Gemini. It's pushing you to embrace new rhythms, but before it moves forward, it's about to slip back into Taurus one more time. That means you might still feel some inner resistance to change, and that's okay. This full moon is highlighting the axis of your 12th and 6th houses, the areas of health, balance, and daily life. It's a moment to check in with your physical, emotional, and mental well being. Maybe you've been recovering from something physically or emotionally, and now you can finally see how far you've come. Venus in Libra for this lunation, glowing in your fifth house, the house of joy, romance, and creativity, talks about or maybe makes you makes you ask the question about what brings you pleasure now? What makes you feel alive again? For some Geminis, this full moon has a secret romance vibe. Venus in the fifth house and the moon in the 12th can totally describe a hidden love story. And with Mercury in Sagittarius in your house of partnerships, it might be time for that relationship to step into the light, or at least to have an honest conversation about where it's going. And surprises are possible. Mars just entered Sagittarius and is opposing Uranus. So there could be spontaneous thoughts, sudden plans, or changes that come out of nowhere. Just remember, Mercury is about to go retrograde. So not everything will be decided right away. Some conversations or choices will need to be revisited through late November and early December. For others, this isn't about romance at all. It's about health, healing, or even retirement. Maybe you've reached a stage in your career where you've built something meaningful, a reputation, a legacy, financial stability. Jupiter in Cancer is harmonizing with Saturn in Pisces, is in trine, supporting long-term security and wise decision making. You might be asking yourself, what's next? What chapter do you want to open now? There's a sense of generosity, of having enough, and wanting to realign your life around what truly matters. And yes, there may still be hesitation. Uranus retrograding back into Taurus reminds you that change takes time. But by the next year, when Uranus fully enters Gemini, you'll be ready to leap into something completely new, a fresh, liberated version of yourself. Full moon in Taurus for Sagittarius rising. This full moon is happening in your sixth house, the area of daily life, routines, habits, health, and also your relationship with employees or even with pets. This lunation is revealing the results of the habits you've been building over the last 18 months, whether they've truly had a positive impact on your life or not. Venus, the ruler of this full moon, is in Libra, activating a zone in your chart connected to friendships, groups, benefactors, dreams, and long term goals. It's in a really good place for you, suggesting that paying more attention to your quality of life has improved your relationships, especially within work teams. There's a clear link between the area of your chart related to teamwork, where Venus is, and your daily tasks, where the full moon is. So maybe you improved certain processes at work or change the way you approach your daily tasks, and that had a positive impact on your team. Or perhaps you started a sport on a group activity that's been really good for your well-being and routines. Now, let's look at Jupiter since it's the ruler of your ascendant. At the time of this full moon, Jupiter is in Cancer, activating your eighth house, the area of shared resources, others people's money, inheritance, or financial support that comes through banks, partners, or collaborations. Jupiter has been quite active lately, connecting with Saturn in your fourth house from home, family, roots, properties, and recently Mars joined that configuration in Scorpio. So it's possible that you've been going through intense or challenging situations within your family, maybe around shared finances, inheritance, or even emotional matters that have required you to face deep truths or crisis. But the good thing is that this process has also shown you who your real support network is, the friends or people who truly have your back. There might even be a situation where a friend or connection gives you advice or helps you make better financial or practical decisions. The beautiful link between Venus and Jupiter, both in strong positions, speaks about blessings that come through friends, gifts, emotional support, or simply moments where you feel appreciated and held by your people. On other note, Mercury and Mars are both transiting your ascendant right now, which puts the spotlight on you. You're radiating energy, initiative, and drive, but also you might be more impulsive than usual. Mars is in Sagittarius, is opposing Uranus in Gemini during this full moon. So you could experience sudden situations or conversations that trigger strong reactions. And I say reactions rather than responses because they might come out before you think. So be mindful with your words, especially in social settings. What comes to mind for me is something like you are at a party or a group gathering, there's a bit of excess, and suddenly your filter disappears. You say something impulsive, and then you realize you'll have to repair later. So, Cancer rising, this full moon in Taurus is lighting up the part of your chart that talks about friendships, groups, community, the people you love to share life with. It's a time when something that's being unfolding within a group finally reaches a peak, or maybe it's something happening to a friend, someone close to your heart. Now, Venus, the ruler of this full moon is in Libra, highlighting your home, your family, your roots. And she's in a square with Jupiter, who's right on top of you in Cancer. That combination feels warm, generous, abundant. Like a beautiful family gathering, a reunion with friends, a celebration that fills your home with love, food, and laughter. It's one of those moments when you just feel grateful, grateful for the people around you, for the connections that hold you. Venus and Jupiter together can make you want to give a lot, maybe even too much. So, yes, be generous, but remember to honor your own limits too. Now, there's something else happening behind the scenes. Jupiter is making a trine to Saturn in Pisces, and that's opening doors related to travel, study, or foreign cultures. So, this full moon could also mark a dream coming true, a trip you've been wanting to take, or maybe a friend from far away finally visiting you. It's a moment filled with joy and expansion, and a reminder that you're supported by friends, by family, by the universe itself. But on one little note, I have to give you, Mars and Mercury are in Sagittarius, activating your house of daily routines and health. So if you're celebrating, traveling, eating a bit more than usual, which Taurus energy totally invites you to do, just be mindful of excesses. Enjoy the moment, and then once the party is over, let that Mars in Sagittarius help you move, exercise, get back into rhythm. This full moon wants you to enjoy, reconnect, receive, to remember that pleasure, connection, and good company are also a form of healing. Capricorn rising. This full moon in Taurus lights up the part of your chart that talks about joy, pleasure, creativity, and love. It's a moment that reveals results. Something that's been growing for the past 18 months is now coming full circle. For some of you, this could be about a child, something important unfolding in your child's life, a milestone, an achievement, a transition you can finally see. For others, it's about your own joy, a creative project, a passion, a hobby that now starts to show real results. Because Venus, ruler of this full moon, is in Libra, sitting high in your chart, in the area of career and public image. That means what brings you pleasure is also starting to bring you recognition. This could be the moment when your talent, your art, your creativity finally gets noticed. Something you've been nurturing quietly is now blooming beautifully. And it might come with celebration. Food, friends, nature, laughter, a reminder that success doesn't have to feel heavy. It can be sweet, sensual, and full of color. Now, your ruling planet Saturn is in Pisces, making a flowing connection with Jupiter in Cancer. That's a very social, supportive energy. It says that the work you've been doing, especially anything creative or collaborative, has opened doors and built real connections. Maybe you've been part of a group project or something you created with others that's now coming to fruition, something that's brought joy, nourishment, and a sense of shared purpose. This full moon might also bring you into the spotlight. People are noticing what you do, appreciating your effort, and maybe even offering support or opportunities. It's a reminder to say yes, yes to joy, yes to connection, yes to let yourself be seen. And with Venus squaring Jupiter, just one little note, there could be some excesses. Too much fun, too much food, too much wine. But honestly, after the work you've been doing, you've earned a little indulgence. So celebrate. Let this full moon remind you that pleasure, creativity, and success can absolutely coexist. Leo rising. This full moon in Taurus lights up the very top of your chart. It's the area that rules your career, public image, achievements, and long term goals. This is a moment of recognition, something you've been building for the past 18 months. is finally visible. People can see your effort, your growth, your results. Now remember, the sun, your ruler, is in Scorpio, shining from the most private part of your chart, your home, your family, your roots. So this full moon is balancing two worlds, your public life and your private life. What's happening out there in the world is deeply connected to what's happening inside your home and your heart. Venus, ruler of this full moon, is in Libra, in the area that rules communication, siblings, learning, and your local environment. So maybe this is the time when you share your success, you speak about it, you tell your story, you let others hear what you've accomplished. Or perhaps it's a time when family conversations become important, discussions with parents, siblings, or loved ones that help bring a sense of closure or harmony after a long process. For some of you, this full moon might be about a parental situation, something involving your mother or father that's been unfolding for quite some time and is now reaching solution. There's soft and generous tone in the air. Venus is squaring Jupiter in Cancer, which brings blessings, comfort, and a sense of emotional abundance. But it also reminds you, don't overextend yourself. Give with love, yes, but keep some energy for you. Because Jupiter in Cancer Jupiter in Cancer speaks to your inner world, your rest, your need to retreat and recharge. And after all the effort you've poured into your goals, this might be the perfect time to pause and celebrate. Mars has just entered Sagittarius, activating your house of pleasure, joy, and creative expression. That's your cosmic green light to take a break, to celebrate, to laugh, to dance, to reconnect with that truly makes you feel alive, what you really enjoy. So, Leo rising, this full moon is both a culmination and a reward. It's the universe saying, look at how far you've come, you've done the work, you've shown up, you've built something real. Now it's time to enjoy it, to rest, to celebrate, and to remember that your light shines brightest when you're nourished inside out. Aquarius rising. This full moon in Taurus lights up your private life, your home, your family, and your properties. It can even relate to land, agriculture, or spaces you manage. This is a moment of visible results. What you've been working on privately for the last 18 months is finally showing up in your life. For some of you, this might mean acquiring an important property, something that gives you recognition, status, or a sense of accomplishment. For others, it's about family achievements, moving, renovating, improving your home, or strengthening family bonds. Saturn, your traditional ruler, is back in Pisces in the part of your chart that talks about money and resources. And this is your reminder to manage finances carefully. If this full moon involves buying a house or investing, be wise with your resources. Venus in Libra is also active, bringing good news if there were legal matters, property concerns, or negotiations. Things look positive now. Generosity, balance, and fairness are highlighted. There's also a square between Venus and Jupiter, which could be linked to your work, learning, or travel opportunities. This full moon shines a light on your home life and public life. At the same time, it's a balancing act, celebrating private achievements while being recognized publicly. Mars recently in Scorpio formed a strong trine with Saturn and Jupiter. This shows that your hard work, especially professionally, is finally being recognized, sometimes with financial rewards. This could support investments in a move, home improvements, or other private projects. On the personal side, this moon can highlight family relationships, especially with your mother or female authority figures. It's a time to acknowledge, support, resolve matters, and celebrate milestones. Uranus, your mother ruler, is in Gemini, sparking curiosity and a desire for new experiences. But it's about to re enter Taurus, bringing some instability or surprises around home or property matters. If you're moving or renovating, expect some disruption. It's part of the process and it won't last forever. And finally, Pluto in Aquarius has just turned direct. You're entering a phase of major lasting transformation. It can feel challenging, but it's leveling you up. Venus is about to enter Scorpio, connecting with Pluto. This highlights your work being recognized, valued, and transformative. Aquarius rising, this full moon is about celebrating your private victories, balancing home and public life, and embracing the change that elevates your life. It's a moment to acknowledge your progress and take in the rewards of your efforts. Virgo rising, this full moon in Taurus lights up your zone of foreign travel, legal matters, publications, universities, philosophies, and other cultures. It shows the result of a process you've been working on for the past 18 months, and the results look very positive. This can even bring recognition or monetary rewards. If this involves sharing knowledge, giving classes, speaking at conference, or publishing work, the event finally happens and it comes with financial compensation. Venus in Libra is influencing your house of money and resources. So this full moon positively impacts your income. It could be payment from a publication, a lecture, or a course you gave. Mercury, your ruler, is in Sagittarius. In the area of home, family, and living arrangements, your focus is on where to live, who to live with, or family dynamics. The full moon connects with other cultures, so maybe you're thinking about moving abroad or to a different city. With Mars entering Sagittarius, the possibility is real. But Mercury retrograde reminds you to pause, review, and think things through. Another angle of this full moon, if you receive payment for your work, you might decide to invest in your home. With Mars transiting here, this could involve renovations, repairs, or improvements. Mercury retrograde suggests being careful, checking details, and planning carefully. Jupiter in Cancer is key here, linked to friends, groups, projects, and benefactors, and connected with Saturn in Pisces, which touches partners, collaborators, and close allies. Recently, Mars has been part of this picture too. Through your social circles, opportunities are opening up. Some may involve travel, growth, or support from friends. The recent Venus Jupiter aspect highlights generosity and recognition. Someone in your network might offer a gift, a chance, or support. Finally, Mercury in Gemini adds variety to your professional life. You might, Mercury, no, sorry. Uranus in Gemini adds variety to your professional life. You might have seen significant changes recently. Mars opposing Uranus signals unexpected opportunities, maybe a sudden change to travel, work abroad, or present a project remotely. Even if you don't move physically, you could be connecting with distant places or audiences through technology. Virgo rising, this full moon is about reaping the rewards of your work, balancing home and career, and embracing opportunities that expand your horizons. Pisces rising. This full moon in Taurus lights up your zone of communication, siblings, short trips, learning, neighborhood, and daily transportation. Even your vehicles, like your bike, car, or anything you use to move around, could feel this energy. This is a beautiful full moon with Venus in Libra influencing your resources coming from others. What could this bring? Maybe a short trip or weekend getaway supported by someone special, a partner or someone who values you, just wanting to share a joyful time together. This full moon also shines on projects related to communication, projects that involve design, beauty, presentation, or aesthetics. Something attractive and sensual. Think of a creative project like children's books, jewelry design, interior design, or anything visually appealing. Venus in Libra squares Jupiter, and this is great news for you. Jupiter is your ruler in Cancer, in the zone of creativity, pleasure, and passion projects. So your project could bring significant income. Someone appreciates it, values it, and pays for it. Now, look at Sagittarius. Mars and Mercury are there in the most visible part of your chart, your career zone. So, these creative projects, communication efforts, and beautiful works are impacting your professional life. Opportunities, recognition, or even public appearances might arise. But remember, Mercury is about to retrograde. Some things will need review or adjustment. Sagittarius also connects with other cultures and teachings, so this project could open doors for teaching, presenting, or connecting with international audiences, maybe even traveling for work or creative exposure. Mars recently connected with Jupiter and Saturn before the full moon. Jupiter in your house of pleasure highlights enjoyment, vacations, or joyful activities. Mars in Scorpio in your house of long distance travel points to opportunities through your work or projects. Recognition could come from audiences in other countries, other cultures, or different languages. Jupiter trine Saturn is key. Jupiter represents you. Saturn in Pisces represents effort, discipline, and delayed rewards. This full moon shows that all your sustained effort over the last 18 months is finally paying off. You're seeing the results of hard work, creativity, and dedication. And finally, here are my final recommendations for everyone. This is a super moon, which means the moon is closer to the earth than usual. Its effects are stronger on the tides or on our bodies. You might notice that tides rise more than usual, and in your body, you might feel stronger cravings, wanting to eat more or just enjoy more. With the moon in Taurus, and especially with the Venus Jupiter square, there's a natural tendency toward excess. You might want to indulge in all the pleasures, food, comfort, fun in the moment. It can be super enjoyable, but later there could be consequences. So, my advice is enjoy, but in balance. Savor, celebrate, but don't let indulgence become a problem. This is a beautiful full moon that invites us to value the present, to celebrate what we've achieved so far. In a world that moves at 1,000 miles per hour, it tells us pause. Take the time to acknowledge the effort, patience, and discipline that went into reaching this point. It's a perfect moment to enjoy your body, your life, and your achievements. Value the privileges and progress you've built over the last 18 months. I hope this information is really useful for you. Thank you again, Nadiya and team, for inviting me. I loved it. Leave a comment below about how or where you're feeling this full moon in your life. Bye bye.